to order. Okay, so Justice White is out of town, and Justice Birch did not be here.
Mark's money says he's out of town. I appreciate it. I'll vote me some money in.
Now's your chance.
Well, that's why I'm taking it.
So with that being said, we do not have a quorum today. So I would like to ask that we only look at the items, or that we only send items without with just a recommendation, not an actual quorum to send it over to the full court until next month. Look at items that are only kind of, I hate to say the word emergent, but that are not a necessity, so that we can discuss them in the finance committee meeting and then send them over after that. So if that's okay with everybody. Dr. Cullen, I guess it's just me.
I don't know.
I don't know either, so let's.
I don't know what the rules are.
Me either. So we'll just keep on
I'm not
looking.
good at following me.
Yeah. So we'll just start off with the monthly expenses. So again, the monthly expenses look pretty good. There's not anything that really stuck out. I know that we did discuss last month, of course, fuel prices seem to be kind of running. They're running out of budget. They're running high. But other than that, the lease was up on a tractor in the landfill, and so we did purchase that tractor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So you will see that if you look at the expenses, you'll see a negative, but we could certainly rearrange the budget a little bit without, and that will take care of that. Anything else? Did anybody see anything else? So the next item is the grant for the juvenile officers. We did discuss this last month a little bit, and we discussed what the state pays, what do we pay. So we received the money from the state to pay the bonus amount. The county will have to pay the matching part of the Social Security, Medicare, and retirement. So the total to be paid out will be the $30,000 in salaries, which is the amount that we received from the state, plus $2,295 for taxes, and then $4,596 for retirement. This money will be deposited into county general and paid out using the juvenile personal services account number for the salaries, taxes, and retirement.
Is this a one-time only deal?
This is a one-time only deal, and have we received that money?
We haven't. Peggy doesn't have it yet. Daryl has it, but yes, we do.
Okay, so we do have it.
Daryl has it.
So this is one of those items that I would like to say, let's go ahead and send, since we already have, we're gonna pay the taxes. This county
the matching part of Social Security and Medicare.
Okay, that's what I was asking, because I know on the other stipend, they have to pay the taxes themselves. We pay the matching, Social Security, Medicare.
Yeah, that's, on the juvenile one, we have to pay the Social Security, Medicare, and retirement.
Okay. So, the next thing on the agenda was the courtroom security grant. So Wayne Reynolds applied for this grant. Wayne, you want to tell us about the grant?
Yes, I applied for this grant on behalf of the Osceola District Court, and it was approved. And it's going to be an upgrade for a security gate for their parking area, and a couple of cameras for security, and a panic button system. And the total is just over $11,400, so they're getting quite an amount for that.
Yeah, that's good. Okay. And so it's recommended from the auditors and Eddie Jones that we go ahead and pay the bills for the projects through our normal A&P process, and then we will need to appropriate the entire amount of the grant, which is $11,520. I'll probably use the small equipment account number. Okay. And so, do we have those bills? So we need to go ahead and appropriate that. We need to do that now.
Yes, and then when they start doing the projects, then the bills need to be turned in to us. Pay that way.
Okay, so, so the sheriff has some requests, that came out of fire, police, and safety to an appropriate, this would be a budget amendment to $50,000 to cover the purchase of some small equipment. And so there is some money in that line item right now that has not been, spent. So I would say this is not emergent and that I would like to wait until there is a quorum for the committee to send it, to discuss it and then send it over to the, full court.
What is the money is there, correct?
Well, there's still money left in the budget at the current time, currently, but if they buy everything that they're asking for, we'll have to appropriate more money to their small equipment item, or line. This is what they're asking for right here.
We've actually already got the money that's in that account committee.
Well, no, I don't think you can eliminate any of it. The question is do we have to do it this month since we don't have a quorum? I don't think we do.
Sheriff? Does money need to be done right away, or can we wait till we get more?
I think we wait, because, like Justice Hatch said, I think, part of that money, or most of it out of that small equipment account already committed to, vests, with the vest grant, and also our fiscal exchanges.
Yeah, so, one thing that that we haven't talked about on here, or that's not anywhere in here, but also, so we'll also have to do some other things with the jail. Won't we have to appropriate some additional money to recable?
Well, yes, but, and I don't know, I think we brought, that was, when you recommend sending that over, they're going to, need to recable this voice over IP. Their cabling system, I looked at the other day, the building was built back in the nineties, probably Cat 5 cable. Now they've got Cat 5E, Cat 6, Cat 6E. I think they need to come out with Cat 7. But we have Norris here, I see too. He's the one who actually made the recommendation over the Morgan that we probably do need to upgrade because they're barely limping by with what they got.
Yeah, so I just think so we need to probably take a look at all of the expenses or things that the sheriff needs and make sure that what do we need to do now, and then what can we budget for next year would be. And I think there just needs to be more discussion on that. I don't know how you feel.
Just so long as we don't leave somebody hanging out there because that's a lot of money.
No, we got, I think we'll do great. I think everybody can have all the things on their wish list as long as we just kind of prioritize and keep them going. So, which moves us on to the law enforcement stipend. So the sheriff submitted a roster of 34 officers that were eligible for the $5,000 stipend at this time. You want to give us a little reminder of what that is?
Okay.
Well, you want to start?
Either one.
Go ahead, Sheriff.
Well, the Sheriff's Association and the Chiefs of the Police Association lobbied the legislature this past year to get a $3,000 credit off their state income taxes. The legislature turned it down after several attempts. Okay, so then the governor comes back, or back in the spring, comes back with this proposal here to give all law enforcement certified officers in the state of Arkansas $5,000 stipend. Now, and that had to be on officers that are certified with minimum standards. It's got all their certificates, all their schooling up to date. Once we submit it, and each chief of that sheriff or the chief of police of that department submit those names to minimum standards, and their attorney down there critiques it, make sure that they're in their system as a certified officer. then they would send, the department, kinda like, the other, department here, a check to, like the sheriff's office or, police chief. We would turn that money over to the treasurer to be disseminated back out to those law enforcement officers in the state, or in our county, in this instance, which would be the 5,000 less the taxes and so forth. The county would have to do like they did on the juvenile, discuss the social security, Medicare, and retirement out of that. So we haven't received it yet, but I anticipate it coming here within the next few weeks or a month.
Right, so the state and the, Arkansas Association of Counties, they advised to go ahead and appropriate the money to cover the payments. Because it's written in the bill that the county is to pay the bonus payments on the first payroll after receiving the money. So we need to make sure that it's appropriated so that as soon as we receive it, we can do it. So we would need to appropriate $170,000 in salaries, $13,005 in Social Security, what is, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Taxes, and $26,044 in retirement. The state gives us the money to cover the salary amount and the tax amount, but not the retirement amount. Is that correct? Okay. However, we still have to appropriate it all. So I think we should move that without recommendation on over. The next thing is our thing for Medicare that Jake is working on in the Medicare reimbursement payments. Kelly's done a little bit of research on this, kind of to try to help him. We don't think he'll have it ready by the meeting on Tuesday. So we will need to appropriate a little bit more money like we have in the other months. So he'll pass that along. The next thing is the insurance policy on the Blytheville Courthouse. We gotta send that. So we gotta have insurance.
Builder's risk policy.
So, well, it expired. So, yes. Definitely one of the things that we will need to investigate a little bit further and have somebody come and talk to us. Kelly, do you want to give a little bit of update on the AAC risk management, that it is a...
Oh, yeah, I did talk to Debbie on Friday. She said they are self-insured, but they, like up to $250,000, and then they, purchase extra insurance for anything over that.
Now, let me get you right. They're self-insured for their liability, but they actually broker the insurance for somebody else. Is that correct?
For everything over $250,000.
Okay, first 250 theirs,
Yes.
but after that, they brokered it for somebody else.
But they handle all the paperwork in-house, she said, and we won't, I don't know who they broker it with, I think it's different.
I don't get the same situation with health insurance.
Right.
They do so much and then broker it out here, and here we go. That's,
Right.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the
No, I
organization.
definitely think it's something that's, I mean, I think it is the right thing to do right now, but what
I
about,
don't think we got a choice.
no, I don't either. So by the next, we should look into it.
We'll do something in the next 5
Yeah.
months to decide.
Most of it. So that, let's see. So the new policy is with the AAC to cover the building for the remainder of the year, and the amount is $40,520.55. We'll need to appropriate that amount. So let's see. There was $25,000 budgeted for 2022 insurance. Let's see. I don't think we'll know that. You know, bring some speed. What you think?
We can appropriate the whole amount if you want to, or, you know, there's some already appropriated in there, but we will have to use some of it. So I mean, the easiest thing might be just to appropriate it all, and then we might have a little bit left over at the end of the year.
I think you're right. I think it would be easier just to appropriate the $40,520.55 to make sure that we. Yeah.
It'd be our luck storm come blow away.
Anyway, okay, moving along. So the health unit. So we, if you guys remember correctly, we the ARP committee, gave money to kind of rehab the health units. And so, that's moving along, I think, does Mr. Ruby, has he given you some plans yet? He's almost,
I think the plans may be completed, but we don't have a copy.
okay.
I haven't seen
I
it.
know it's I mean, he's moving along with it. I know
He
he's,
is, yeah.
yeah, he's met with Chris several times. They've gone over some things. He's working within he's gonna work within the budget or parameters that we kind of gave him in the beginning. However, we appropriated, $15,000, and we need to appropriate a little bit more money. So we're at that point. So we need, another appropriation in order to pay the bills that have come in from Mr. Ruby. So there we are on that. One other thing, so we will, let's see. So I would suggest that we appropriate another $35,000 out of ARP to get the bills paid and then restored. Okay, so the next thing, does this have to come through, can this go straight to the, so we have to have an administration policy in order to adopt federal grants. Is that right?
Yes, to accept and issue federal grant money, we need this administration policy officially adopted.
Officially adopted, so it's an ordinance, let's see if I have a copy of it. There's not any, like, it's not any money or anything like that, it's just an ordinance saying we have, a federal grant award administration policy. And here is a copy of that and the appropriation ordinance. So that will definitely need to go to the full court.
Yeah, that's just, that'll be done.
Yeah, that's just. And is that, so our okay, and then the last thing is the courthouse appropriation of the $50,000 that the energy and property just sent over. So I do think we need to send that on so that we can, again, pay the bills that are coming in. Could wait, because we've still got, what, gosh, $1 million appropriated that we haven't paid, but. Yeah. All right, anything else?
Make a motion, we go.
Okay. I'll second, okay, that's it.